My channel To Do Learning. In this video we are going to learn about paper and its history, how it came to be and what are its applications and uses in our current world. So let's get started. Paper is a thin sheet material produced by mechanically or chemically processing cellulose fibers derived from wood. Paper is produced by draining the water through fine meshing, leaving the fiber evenly distributed on the surface, followed by pressing and drying. Paper was originally made in single sheets by hand. Nowadays, paper is made on large machines. Paper is a versatile material with many uses. For example, printing, packaging, writing, decorating, cleaning, wallpaper, tickets, toilet tissue, currency, etc. Now we have learned basic meaning of the paper, what it is means, what paper truly is. Now let's see what is its history, how it came to be, how it spread throughout the world and became a basic part of our day-to-day life. So let's get started. History of paper. The paper making process was developed in East Asia at least as early as 105 CE by the Han court eunuch Sai Lun. Even so, the earliest archaeological fragments of paper derive from the 2nd century BCE in China. The modern paper industry is global with China as its leading producer. It has been said that the knowledge of paper making was passed to the Islamic world after the Battle of Talas in 751 CE, when two Chinese paper makers were captured as prisoners. In the 13th century, the knowledge and uses of paper spread from the Middle East to medieval Europe, where the first water-powered paper mills were built. Then the paper was introduced to the West through the city of Baghdad. In the 19th century, industrialization greatly reduced the cost of manufacturing paper. In 1844, the Canadian inventor Charles Fenetry and the German F.J. Keller independently developed processes for pulping wood fibers. This was a brief history of paper. Now we are going to learn about its early sources of fiber which are used for making the paper. Before the industrialization of paper production, the most common source of fiber was recycled fibers from used textiles called rags. The rags were from hemp, linen and cotton. In 1774, a German named Justus Klaproth invented a process for removing printing inks from recycled paper. Today this method is called de-inking. Paper production was dependent on recycled materials from rag pickers until the introduction of wood pulp in 1843. Next we are going to learn about the origins of the word paper. The word paper is derived from Latin word papyrus, which comes from the Greek word for the cyperus papyrus plant. Papyrus is a thick paper-like material produced from the pith of the cyperus papyrus plant. Papyrus was used in ancient Egypt and other Mediterranean cultures for writing before the introduction of paper. Papyrus is different from paper as they are produced very differently. Papyrus is a lamination of natural plant fiber, while paper is manufactured from fibers whose properties have been changed by maceration. Next is the process of paper making. There are several steps in making paper and there are also various methods. We are going to study about them. So first we are going to learn about chemical pulping. Pulping is the first step of paper making. There is chemical pulping and mechanical pulping. So let's learn about those two. First, how does chemical pulping works? To make pulp from wood, a chemical pulping process separates lignin from cellulose fiber. A cooking liquor is used to dissolve the lignin, then it is washed from the cellulose. This preserves the length of the cellulose fibers. Paper made from chemical pulps are also known as wood-free papers, not to be confused with tree-free paper. This is because they do not contain lignin. There are three main chemical pulping processes: sulfite process, kraft process, soda pulping. Next we are going to learn about chemical pulping. There are two major mechanical pulps. We are going to learn about mechanical pulping and there are two major mechanical pulps. First, thermomechanical pulp and second, ground wood pulp. In the thermomechanical pulp process, wood is chipped and then fed into the steam heated refiners where the wood chips are squeezed and converted to fibers between two steel discs. In the ground wood process, debarked logs of wood are fed into grinders where they are pressed against rotating to be made into fibers. Mechanical pulps have rather short fibers, thus producing weak paper. We can also obtain the pulp from de-inking. So let's learn about de-inked pulp. Paper recycling can use either chemically or mechanically produced pulp by mixing it with water and applying mechanical force. The hydrogen bonds in the paper can be broken and fibers are separated again. Generally, de-inked pulp is of the same quality or lower than the collected paper it was made from. There are three main classifications of recycled fiber: mill broke or internal mill waste, second is pre-consumer waste, and third is post-consumer waste. Additives are also used in paper making, so let's learn about them. Besides the fibers, the pulps may contain fillers such as chalk or china clay, which improve its characteristics for printing or writing. Additives for sizing purposes may be mixed with the pulp or applied to the paper web later in the manufacturing process. Next step will be producing the paper. In this step, the pulp is fed to a paper machine where it is formed as a paper web and the water is removed from it by pressing and drying. Once the water is forced from the sheet, a special kind of felt is used to collect the water. When making paper by hand, a blotter sheet is used instead. The next step of the process of paper making is finishing. The paper may then undergo sizing to alter its physical properties for use in various applications. At this point, paper is uncoated. Coated paper has a thin layer of materials such as calcium carbonate or china clay applied to one or both sides. Coated or uncoated papers may have their surfaces polished by calendering. The paper is then fed into reels if it is to be used on web printing processes or cut into sheets for other purposes. Continuous stationery is cut to with holes punched at the edges and folded into stacks. The final step of the process of paper making is involves paper grain. All paper produced by paper machines are wove paper. Textured finishes, watermarks and wire patterns imitating handmade lead paper can be created by using appropriate rollers in the later stages of the machine. We have learned how paper is made. Now let's learn about the uses of the paper in our world. Paper can be produced with a wide variety of properties depending on its intended use. First use would be for representing value such as paper money, banknote, check, security paper, voucher, ticket. Second would be for personal use, diary such as diary, notes, sketch paper. Paper can be produced for storing information like books, notebooks, graph paper, punched card, photographic paper. Paper can also be used for communication through magazine, newspaper, art, letter, newsprint, card stock. Paper can also be used for packaging such as paper bag, envelope, wrapping paper, paper string. Paper can be used for cleaning like toilet paper, paper towels, face towels, facial tissue. Paper can be used for construction such as origami paper, paper planes, paper honeycomb, sandpaper, paper clothing. The other uses of paper are blotting paper, universal indicator paper, filter paper, wallpaper. Paper has a major value in the visual arts. It's used to form 2- and 3-dimensional shapes. Paper has also evolved to being a structural material used in furniture design. Those were the uses of paper. Now let's see what is the environmental impact of paper in our environment. The production and use of paper has a number of advantages. Paper is leading to increase in deforestation because trees are being harvested and used for paper manufacturing. There is also the issue of paper waste which harms our environment. Conventional bleaching of wood pulp using chlorine produces and releases large amounts of chlorinated organic compounds into the environment. These compounds include chlorinated dioxins, which are environmental pollutants. Dioxins are highly toxic with adverse effects on human health. To resolve the environmental problems, some manufacturers have started using a new significantly more environment-friendly alternative to expanded plastic packaging. The new packaging is made out of paper and is commercially known as paper foam. This new packaging has mechanical properties very similar to those of some expanded plastic packaging, but it is biodegradable and can also be recycled in ordinary paper. This is it for today. Thanks for watching. If you like this video, please subscribe my channel. Please also like, share and comment on this video.